4.3 billion people live across this vast continent called Asia. And we are telling their stories. On this edition, Trouble in Paradise. We look into the harmful effects of unbridled tourism on Thailand's environment, from land to sea. And decomposing plastic. A 15-year-old boy from the Philippines invents biodegradable plastic. Can it solve the garbage problem in his country and the rest of the world? I'm Martin Lowe, and this is Assignment Asia. Welcome to the program. Thailand attracts more than 30 million visitors every year to its white sand beaches, coral reefs, and other scenic spots. In a country where the economy has faltered in recent times, tourism is a consistent success story. But experts say Thailand's environment is already paying a steep price. Beaches are overcrowded, coral destroyed, and dump sites filled to the brim with trash. I visited islands in the south of Thailand to investigate the impact of excessive tourism. Planes take off and land every few minutes at this tropical island airport in the Gulf of Thailand. Thailand has aggressively promoted itself as a holiday destination. Visitor numbers are soaring, earning the country a staggering $70 billion a year. And there's more to come. Some predict a tripling of visitors by 2030 to 100 million tourists a year. But Thailand is feeling the strain. Its beautiful beaches are crowded with people, polluting its waters and destroying precious coral. And mountains of waste are piling up, so much that no one knows what to do with them. It may be time to ask, is tourism hurting Thailand?
The fear of our tourism impact right now is will grow and grow and grow. And it's not a fear, it's a fact.
A team of marine scientists dives onto the coral reef on the island of Koh Kai near Phuket in southern Thailand. Their research shows up to 90% of the reef in this area is dead or dying, in large part due to human activity. Tourist boats drop their anchors onto the coral, ripping out huge chunks. Snorkelers walk on the brittle reef. Some even break off pieces as souvenirs. One nearby airport confiscates up to 100 kilograms of coral from passengers each day. Human intrusion drives out the living organisms on which the coral depends to survive. Coral isn't just beautiful to look at. It's a living animal that's used to make medicines to treat cancer, Alzheimer's and heart disease. Dr. Nalini has seen the reef's gradual destruction.
Yeah, I'm so sad because I have been work on coral for more than 20 years, and I saw Koh Kai in very good coral condition. The living coral is almost 100%, but right now the living coral maybe is around only 10% left, so it's very bad.
This is where man and nature collide head-on. Boatloads of tourists converge on these tiny islands in the Andaman Sea, lured by the white sand, warm waters and plentiful fish. It's the natural beauty of places like this that attracts tourists in large numbers. Up to half of all visitors to Thailand come here for so-called ocean tourism. But ironically, if there are too many, those same tourists can destroy the very beauty they come to enjoy. Maya Bay at Phi Phi Island, made famous as an idyllic hideaway in the Leonardo DiCaprio movie The Beach, is struggling to cope with the influx of tourists. At times, up to 10,000 people a day visit this tiny stretch of sand. Something as simple as feeding the fish can seem harmless, but it has a big impact, and it's now prohibited. One tourist who was caught feeding bread to fish to attract them to his camera for a photo faced a maximum penalty of being sent to prison. Instead, he was given just a small fine in an attempt to educate rather than punish. At his laboratory in Thailand's capital, Bangkok, Dr. Ton studies the impact of tourism on the marine environment.
Like in Thailand, we have the problem a lot with feeding reef fish. There are a lot of fish, but only a few of species that eat bread or something that you give it to them. And then they try to control all the reef and get rid of other fish that try to control the algae, the seaweed or whatever in the ecosystem. So the ecosystem collapses if you have too many fish in one species.
It's often a first visit to the area for divers and snorkelers. Sometimes guides are unwilling to stop their enjoyment, so little supervision is given.
Other thing like you take a selfie with a living sea star, whatever. There are not many sea stars in the snorkeling side. One sea star maybe collect up down 10 times a day. That's a problem to the sea star and maybe die.
There are serious concerns over the impact of such huge numbers of visitors on shorelines and beaches and the future of the coral reef. For the first time, an entire island and the sea around it has been closed to tourists for an indefinite period. The authorities say without the closure, Koh Tachai, just a few kilometers from here, would be unable to recover from the damage caused by tourists. And they're warning if it happens elsewhere, more islands may have to be closed. Another issue is human waste. Water treatment plants simply can't cope with the amount that's generated in tourist destinations. Sometimes untreated water has to be discharged into the sea.
Like a PP island, we have they can control around 300 cubic meter a day. Now we have 1,800. So that's a problem. For the water plant, as you can see, it requires large amount of money, funding. Only at PP, we need 500 million baht. Only at PP. We have Koh Samet, we have Koh Samui, we have Phuket, we have whatever. So it may be need more than 20,000 or 30,000 million baht to upgrade every water quality plant around Thailand.
This is what healthy coral looks like. A multitude of colors and a diverse mix of species. But this is in a laboratory, and a far cry from the dull browns and greys of decaying coral now found around much of Thailand's shores.
We cannot stop tourist activities, but if we have a good management, like maybe we have a zonation for the people who use area in this area, like where they can do snorkeling, where they can anchoring, or where you have to protect the area for coral to recover. It should be balanced between tourists and also the environment.
Dr. Ton compared Phi Phi Island's coral reef to the world-famous Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
Great Barrier Reef Marine Park in Australia, the largest marine park in the World Heritage Area. They have around 340,000 square kilometers, more than half of Thailand. They have only 2.4 million of visitors. Phi Phi Island have only 300 square kilometers. We have 1.6 million. So huge area, this amount, just only tiny area, almost the same amount. So that is one problem, too many tourists.
The more the tourists come, the more they need somewhere to stay. Many areas of natural beauty have been lost to development, and the sheer weight of numbers brings enormous demands. This is the popular and picturesque holiday destination of Koh Samui. The island's permanent Thai population is just 60,000, but every year that's multiplied by more than 2 million visitors. The resulting garbage is now out of control. There's at least 250,000 tons of rubbish dumped here, spread around the grounds of a broken-down incinerator. The pile of trash is as high as a 3-story building, and it's growing at the rate of 150 tons every day. Covering it with a huge canvas tarpaulin is being considered, but in the end the whole lot may have to be taken to the mainland.
เมื่อก่อนเรามีเตาเผาขยะตอนนี้เตาเผาขยะเราเสียไปแล้วเราก็กำลังจะเปลี่ยนระบบตอนแรกเราก็มีการคัดแยกต้นทางแล้วก็มาเข้าในโรงงานคัดแยกภายในโรงเผาขยะแต่ตอนหลังผู้รับจ้างทำไม่เสร็จตอนนี้เราก็มีนโยบายว่าจะขนออกข้างนอกเลยไม่ใช่ว่าเข้ามาเยอะแล้วเราจะแฮปปี้ไม่ใช่เหมือนอะไรที่มันโดนใช้งานเยอะใช่ไหมมันก็ไม่ไหวใช่ไหมมันรับไม่ได้หรอกใช่ไหมตรงนี้ต้องยอมรับแต่ว่าในขณะเดียวกันในขณะที่เราต้องการอย่างนั้นแต่ในแง่กฎหมายที่เราไปเบรกก็ไม่ได้เขามาขออนุญาตสร้างโรงแรมเราก็ต้องจำเป็นต้องให้ถ้าไม่ให้ก็ไม่ได้เพราะในข้อกฎหมายไม่ได้กำหนดว่าลิมิตของการมีจำนวนห้องเท่าไหร่ในเกาะสมุยเนี่ยใช่ไหมมันไม่มีข้อกฎหมายตรงนั้นดังนั้นสิ่งที่เรากังวลในส่วนของว่าเราจะรับไหวไหมในอนาคต
Thailand will continue to welcome visitors. Tourism is vitally important. Some estimate it accounts for as much as 1/5 of the country's income. But more and more people are realizing that a balance needs to be struck between the benefits of tourism and its impact.
Thailand is starting to rethink its entire tourism strategy. The Tourism Authority is looking into what it's calling smart tourism, depending less on volume, but rather trying to attract fewer visitors and encourage them to spend more.
In years past, we were driven by numbers, lots and lots of numbers, tourist arrivals and revenue even. We're still wanting revenue, but what we want more than those two things is a complete experience for the visitor.
The message now is there's more to Thailand than its beaches.
Thailand is a pretty big country. We have plenty of places to see. So what we're trying to do is to disperse the number of tourists, okay? Not have them congregate in any one place for a specific period, okay? So we're trying to promote and advise them where to go, when, what to see, okay? Of course, we can't order anyone to travel here and there, but that's what we're doing. We want smart tourism for smart travelers.
Where there's coral, buoys are now being placed for boats to tie up to, rather than drop anchor. There's also a scheme to keep count of vessel and tourist numbers, as well as new restrictions on leaving waste. It's being called the PP model, and it's the first serious attempt to manage visitors. Already there are signs of hope. At the Phuket Aquarium, some visitors are aware of the ocean's fragile environment and believe tourists should be more responsible.
Yeah, well, you've got to think for yourself. I mean, there's some people out there that probably don't respect things as much as what tourists should, I suppose.
They have to be real responsible. It's really shame what you can see. If you go by boat from Phuket to whatever I am now, then you see floating all kinds of things.
In the meantime, as the marine scientists looking under the sea have discovered, there's a high price being paid. For now, some people in the land of smiles are frowning in concern over the impact visitors are having and the long-term future of the natural beauty that attracts people to this tropical paradise.
After Koh Tachai, the authorities closed more islands at Koh Kai Nok, Koh Kai Nui and Koh Kai Nai to protect the coral reef and allow the environment time to recover. Next on Assignment Asia, plastic pollution in the sea and how one Filipino boy's invention could help solve it. Millions of tons of plastic waste go into the world's oceans every year, harming marine life, as plastic takes forever to decompose. And the bulk of it, according to studies, comes from the Philippines. But that same country may now hold the key to solving the menace. In Manila, video journalist Peter Carney met a 15-year-old boy who's invented biodegradable plastic out of love for the environment.
You know, we are blessed as a country, you know, to have so many species, different kinds of species of animals, plants. We are blessed to have coral reefs, beautiful landmarks, you know, an amazing country actually. I'm afraid that maybe we're so used to it, you know, that we're starting to take it for granted. My name is Amin Hataman. I'm from FIS, Fountain International School. I am very concerned about the environment here. Growing up in Mindanao, you know, I spent a big deal of my childhood there. I had it as my standard of how the environment should be. And when I came to Manila, right, I was just, you know, surprised by how modern everything was, but also by the lack of nature in a sense. So, you know, it made me want to work on a project like this and help out as much as I can, do as much as I can with the little power I have.
Learning that the Philippines is the third largest polluter of plastic in the ocean is something not to be proud of. Because of that, one makes you think, how can we help, you know, address that problem and hopefully make the Philippines be more responsible in disposing of the plastic. Aside from shift in the way we think about the use of plastics, another very important solution to addressing plastic waste is the use of biodegradable materials.
The main idea is that it's a biodegradable plastic made from nata de coco. Of course, yeah, it's biodegradable, which means that compared to the normal commercial plastic that we use nowadays, it doesn't take such a long time to degrade. That's why if it's, you know, left alone, or if it's just thrown in the garbage and no one picks it up, it won't, you know, start to clog the drainage pipes. It'll just melt away. Nata de coco is a dessert, pretty much a weird thing to make plastic from, but it's fermented coconut juice in a sense. Solidified, mainly here in the Philippines, it's used as a snack. We get the pure one, and we put it inside a mixture that will, in a sense, catalyze the properties and help it develop the properties that it has now. And then we sun-dry it to make it more, in a sense, translucent and stronger. It's pretty much a prototype, so we haven't necessarily finished a plastic yet. We just sun-dried it yesterday. I'm really happy with how transparent this is. We've never, of all the plastics we've made, this is, I'm pretty sure, by far the most transparent. And I mean, I can sort of like, you know, put my hand behind this and you can kind of see it. And yeah, it still retains, even though it's this thin and transparent, the properties that you know, other plastics have. It's still strong. Hopefully there's more to come, and hopefully we'll be able to improve this more. Well, of course, we're an archipelago, so it would be normal for a big, you know, a big part of the population to be dependent on, you know, products from the ocean. Normally, when people throw trash, they don't think to that extent. Of course, hindi ka makakita ng tao parang tatapon sila ng, oo nga, yung fisherman. No, it's very rare that that happens. People do know how big of an impact this is. I think there's a chance naman of helping these guys out.
Yes, there is a problem, especially on the plastic waste. There are studies conducted by the DNR and on waste, and the majority of the waste that that are being produced by the people are made up of plastics. This is evident every time we do coastal cleanups where majority of the waste collected in the ocean are made up of plastics. Because of the effect of plastics to our marine habitats, the fishery production is also affected because once a marine habitat like the coral reefs are destroyed, fish also tends to decline in numbers because these coral reefs, seagrass beds, and mangroves are important for fishery production.
Start kami noong September 11, 2011 doon sa panawagan na mag-coastal clean up. Yung kaseryosohan ng mga residente, mga environmentalists, individuals na concerned doon sa pangalaga ng kalikasan na pangalagaan tong Freedom Island kasi siya yung nag-iisang critical habitat sa Metro Manila at saka last mangrove frontier dito sa Metro Manila. Bumabalik yung dumi, lalo na kapag may pagkatapos ng ulan, bagyo. Dahil nga yung Manila Bay na part yung Freedom Island ay ano siya yung pinakalagusan ng mga tributaries ng mga ilog, kanal sa buong Metro Manila. Kaya lahat ng basura na galing sa buong Metro Manila, kapag umulan, doon yung kumbaga pinaka-imbakan niya. Kaya kapag umulan, balik ang basura. Kaya may kitang uli na tambak uli yung basura.
Well, Filipinos find convenience in using plastics. Everything you buy is sometimes have multiple packaging. And another one is for economic reasons, especially those people buying what we call tingi. Rather than buying the in bulk, they buy the ones in sachets.
Maliit lang yung plastic na to. Wala naman tong magagawa, itapon ko na lang. Marami na ring basura dyan eh. Right? Kasi you think that there's already so much trash. So why not just throw it? It's just one plastic. The thing is, how many times you do that and how many people think like that? And once everyone starts to think like that, it's going to, in a sense, have a snowball effect.
Siyempre, dati naman nabuhay tayo na walang plastic yung mga magulang natin. So, siyempre, parang sa atin, lalo na sa mga kabataan ngayon, napakahalaga na pangalagaan yung kalikasan kasi lahat ng disaster na nagaganap ay may kinalaman doon sa pagsalaula natin, pagsira natin sa kalikasan.
It would just be nice for us to be able to find an alternative, supermarkets, right? When we don't need to necessarily hold on to those plastics long enough. Maybe, sure, the nata de coco plastic can come in there. Well, at the end, I hope to see it sort of like be more used, hopefully, than commercial plastic. I know it's sort of like it's a long shot or maybe it's like still far away, but that's really what I want to happen.
Amin's invention, which started as a school project, has won several awards in the Philippines and abroad. In 2016, Forbes magazine named him as one of 30 notable Asian personalities in the field of healthcare and science. He was the youngest on the list. You can learn more about this and all the stories on today's programme on our website, www.assignment-asia.com. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Martin Lowe. Thanks for watching and join us again on Assignment Asia. Share your thoughts and contribute story ideas for future shows by contacting us on social media.